Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. This is Kanishka Agarwal, lead at GDSC BVP, and today I welcome you all to the last session of the Flutter Festival, Flutter 105. Today we have with us Vinay, who's the Android lead at GDSC at SITS. He's an enthusiastic individual who loves to explore and learn. He's passionate about Android and cross platform development. So, without further ado, I'd like to invite Vinay for the session. Hey, Vinay.
Hey Kanishka, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining. So I'm Vinay Tripathi, GDS ITS Android lead, and today I'll be taking hands-on workshop which is based on Flutter. So let's get started. We'll wait for a minute and then we'll start. Is it okay?
Definitely.
Okay, so let's start. Uh, So in last week we already discussed on how to get access to Flutter and Dart Labs, which is provided by Google. So Google made a platform which is Google Cloud Skill Boost, where we can perform Flutter and Dart Labs and learn Flutter and Dart easily. So most of you have already got the access. And we also discussed which labs were provided by Google. So those were Dart Essentials, Flutter Essentials, Flutter Development, and Google Cloud. So in today's session, we'll be covering the Flutter Essentials. From this lab, we'll be covering the first two, which is Flutter Quick Start, and the second is which is build a two-screen Flutter application. So without further ado, let's get started. So just open this lab link. So after opening that link, you will visit this page. This is the Flutter Essentials Google Cloud Skill Boost page. Here you will find different labs, which is Flutter Quick Start, build a two-screen Flutter application, working with on-screen data in a Flutter application, and implementing page navigation in a Flutter application. So in today's session, we'll be covering the first two labs. The first one is mostly about introduction, like how to access a lab and build our application and view it on web page. And the second is building a simple two-screen application. On clicking a list, a new screen will appear. So let's start with the first lab. I'll open this in a new tab. Okay, this is how the lab page looks like. So for starting the lab, click Start Lab. Okay, so we have got the access to our ID. Just copy this link and paste it in new tab. Also copy the other link and open that in new tab. Okay, the first link which you get is of the IDE. IDE is Integrated Development Environment, where we'll be coding after the application and we'll be building and testing our application. So after opening the link, you will be welcomed with this page. You must have been So you must know this page. Okay. So here you can choose your theme. Let's go with the dark theme. Okay. While performing the lab, you can read this. It is basically explaining what is Flutter. So we have already discussed in previous labs. Okay, it's asking us to open the code server later. We already did this just now. Okay, so we'll start from the create a Flutter template. Click on the hamburger menu, open a terminal within the browser and selecting new terminal. Okay. So as instructed, you have to click. This is what the hamburger menu looks like. Click it. Click on hamburger menu. Click on terminal and click on new terminal. After a few seconds, your terminal will be ready, and then you have to enter the following command, which is create flutter create first app. You can just copy paste it and hit enter. So what basically this command basically does is create a Flutter application, like which is the it is a boilerplate code given by Flutter team. Okay, so it will generate the like the basic code which is required for getting started with your application. So after running this code, you have to cd to the first tab directly. Cd is a bash command which is used to move to that specific directory. Sorry, and first tab is the name of our directory. So the command is like this: cd first underscore app, which will after this command, our terminal will be moved to the first app folder. Okay. So they're asking us to close the terminal window. So okay, that is a command we use. We are done. That's it. Now exploring the Flutter code. In this session, edit the Flutter web page using the editor to open the first app directory created in previous step. So what you have to do is click on open folder. Then after a few seconds, you will see these folders. You don't have to worry about the other folders. You just have to find the name of the app which you just created, which was first underscore app. Click it and hit enter. After a few seconds, the page will load and your app for the boilerplate code for your first app will be ready. So this is how the Flutter basic application code looks like. There are different folders like Android, iOS, lib, test, etc. We'll be mostly working with the lib directory. Okay, so for build, okay, now running the Flutter web application. Yeah, they are instructing us to open the terminal and just run fwr command. So again click on hamburger menu, click on terminal, click on new terminal. This will open a new terminal window. So what basically this command does is okay. So let's start it first. I'll just paste it fwr. So in Android Studio, like or VS Code, um, before testing the application, you have to build the application first. So this is what this command is doing basically. This is building the our Flutter application on Google servers and will host that application on some web page where we will be able to check our application. Like for example, if you're building your app locally, you must be using some Android emulator or connecting your device using USB cord and checking your applications or testing your applications on your device. So here basically we are doing all this on server and we are viewing and testing our application on a new web page. So if you see this, the message like it is successfully built. Okay. So the app has successfully built. For checking app, you have to click on copy the second link, which is named as live server. The code which we built is hosted on this web page where you will be able to test your application. So as you can see, if I run that web page before building, it will give me an error. So first I have to build the application, then open the second link. So as you can see, it is loading. So the app has been built, but it is being hosted on the web page. So okay, so let's wait for a while. we'll continue with other step till the application loads. Okay, so that's what they have instructed us. After the rendering is complete, if you are building the application locally, you will see this similar view on your device. Okay, and just reload this again. Okay, so as you can see, our Flutter application is built and successfully hosted, where you can test your Flutter application. Whatever you built in the VS Code will be automatically synced here. So all this code is the boilerplate code which is provided by Flutter, and after building it, you will see this UI. Here is increment button. After pressing it, it will change the counter. Okay. So what is Flutter hot reload? So basically, whenever you do some code changes, you have to test that you have to test that specific code in your application. So usually, if you are building an Android application, you have to build the entire code and wait for the building to continue, and it usually takes a minute or two, depending on your laptop's processor, etc. So in Flutter's best feature is hot reload. Basically, what it does is it just reloads the specific components of your application. So and it's very fast. So if you do some changes and do hot reload, it will instantly reflect the changes in your app. So let's try it. So what they're asking is in the editor we have to go to this file which is inside like lib folder. The file name is main.dart. Okay, so let's open that file. This is lib folder which I told you before. And open this main.dart file. Okay, this is how the code looks like, the boilerplate code. Second, they're asking to look for class my app and find the title Flutter demo homepage. Okay, so as you can see, here is one class defined, which is my app class, and you can see that the home attribute of material app is set to using title widget, which is Flutter demo homepage, and they're asking to change it to Flutter is awesome. So let's check, try it. So first you have to open a main.dart file, then find the Flutter demo homepage text. So as you can see, it is present on line number 27. I'll just delete it and paste the new text, which is Flutter is awesome. Okay, so after changing it, we have to save the changes. Okay, so they're just telling okay after after changing the text, this is what your code looks like. I'll just save using Control S. It is a usual shortcut for saving file. After doing this, you have to move your cursor to the terminal, click here, and press small r, and press small r or capital R to hot reload. So let's check out what is hot reload. So I'll press small r. Okay, so as you can see, the Flutter instantly recompiled the application and hot restarted in just 144 milliseconds. If it was Android, it would take few seconds before it completely compiles the code and view the changes. So after doing this, you have to open the page where we are testing an application and reload. So you can use Control R or use a shortcut. So you have to wait till the page reloads. Okay, as you can see, our text has changed to Flutter is awesome. If you notice, the text before was Flutter demo homepage, and now it has been changed to Flutter is awesome. So this is what is hot reload. You can make changes instantly to your code base and check the new like the check your UI, etc. Okay, so yeah, I guess we have completed this lab. So you can click here to check your progress. So if okay, so we have completed this lab, and that's it for this lab. We'll start new lab. You have to end. So I'm ending this lab and close the other direct tabs that I opened. Okay, so that's it for this lab. Now we'll start with the second lab, which is building an actual app with two screens in Flutter. So let's start the lab. So as you can see, it will take around 4 minutes before we get access to VS Code, online VS Code, and the server where we'll be compiling the application. So let's see what is this app. We are building a two-screen Flutter application. So in this lab, you will create a Flutter app using generated template code. The Flutter interface provides a simple example to get started programming in Flutter. Okay, here in this lab, we will learn how to write Flutter app that looks natural on iOS, Android, and web. Build structure of a Flutter app using multiple pages, using hot reload for a quicker development cycle, which you just saw about how Flutter reload works like. Prerequisites are basic Flutter knowledge and Dart. We have already covered one session on Dart, so you will understand most of the code which is explained here. Also, if you don't have access to this lab, you can always use Flutter on your local device. You'll be using VS Code or Android Studio. It works flawlessly on both the platforms. And also, using labs, you are just getting a server where you can code online. You can use all the resources here, and you can just refer this lab without starting and create the tab locally. So even if you didn't got a subscription or got any errors while creating it, you can create the following app locally on your laptop. So till the lab is being provisioned, we'll check this lab. We'll take an overlook on how our app will look like. So the first part in developing an application comes is which is designing the application. So they have just made a sketch of how your application will look like. So this is what the app bar says, my awesome application. And this is the main screen which will show the content of your application. As you can see, we'll be creating an application which shows a list of all the months in the year with Jan, Feb, etc. And after clicking on a specific month, a new details page will open and you will see like a simple text which you selected. So you might say that this what's the use of this application. So the use of this application, so we are building this application to know the base to learn the basics of Flutter. We will be learning how to route between different pages, how to use a list builder to build a list of any text or etc. How to customize your app name. So like you will after developing this application, you will be able to use the knowledge in other useful Flutter applications. So we'll just wait for a minute. Okay, so the labs have been provisioned. Okay, so we finally got access to the lab resources. So as we discussed, this is the ID where you will be coding the actual application. I'll just copy, open new tab and paste it here and open. Okay, so after opening that IDE, you will be welcome with this page, or you can select your desired theme. I'm going with the dark theme. Okay, so after doing this, we are creating a Flutter template application. For this, you will be click on hamburger menu, open new terminal, and run this command. So this is how the okay. If it's not visible, I'll just increase the size. So this is how the hamburger menu looks like. You just click it, click on terminal, hit new terminal. After the terminal is ready, you just have to copy paste the command. So this we already discussed this command. Flutter is we use this command to create a template application, which we just checked before in the previous lab. Run this command. As you can see, the boilerplate code has is being built. Okay, after the basic app has been built, you have to run the other command, which is cd first app, which is used to move to that application directory. After doing this, you have to exit the terminal. Okay. So now we have to open the first tab directory. You will go again to the hamburger menu. Sorry, you have to click on this Explorer menu. Click on Open Folder. After opening it, you will see different folders. You just have to ignore the other folders. You will just focus on the directory which you just created, which is first underscore app. Click it and hit enter. Okay, after doing this, you can see our basic code is ready. If it's asking you, would you like to use the community VS Code setting for Dart and Flutter, just hit it yes. Okay, so now is running the Flutter web application. You have to, okay. Again, you have to open new terminal from hamburger menu, click on terminal, new terminal, paste the command, which is FWR. FWR is a command which is used on this Google Labs for building your Flutter application. So after the Flutter application is successfully built, you can check your application using this second link, which is live server. Whatever changes you do to the code base will be reflected automatically in on this website or server. So it's still waiting for connection. So we'll wait for a moment. Okay, so as you can see, the app is successfully built. We can finally paste the live server link and run it. So as you can see, it will take a minute or two before your application actually loads. We'll till then we'll check the lab. So as similar to the previous lab, after running the application, you will see a similar UI which says Flutter demo homepage and a counter and increment button. After hitting that button, the counter will be increased. Okay, so we just discussed first step in developing an application is designing your application. So in this section, you will be designing this UI and hitting after hitting a specific month, you will launch a new screen. So as we discussed, we'll be using a widget which is called as app bar for creating a header bar. So you, as you can see, the blue sketch like the, so my awesome app is a text which is present on your application bar. So we'll create that using the app bar widget. After opening the second page, you will see a details page heading. So this is displayed on an application bar. So you will create using the application bar widget. So you must be knowing what are widgets, which was pretty much explained by Piyush in yesterday's session. And we will be using scaffold. Scaffold is creating a structure with material UI elements for our application. And the other one is text widget. So text widget is basically a basic widget which is used for displaying text. So as you can see, there are various text as you see on app, which is my awesome app, the month name details page, you selected January, etc. All this is displayed using a text widget. And a list view, you will use a list view to display a list of months. Okay, so the our live server is ready. As we discussed, this is what the basic application like, or the default application which looks like. Hitting this button will increment the counter. So let's study about list view. In this section, to build the basic item list, a Flutter page will look similar to the image below. In the image, there is a list of months presented. A list view is capable of listing items. So, as the name itself suggests, a list view is a widget which is used to show a list of any text widget or any widget. So, this is how the syntax of list view widget looks like. Uh, for creating a list view, you will use a list view keyword with the open with the open parenthesis, and the children will be the widgets, the actual text that will be displaying. So in list view, there is one we will be using the widgets which is list title, sorry. And inside list title, we'll be giving the title which is January, Feb, March, etc. So you can learn more about the list using this the using the official Flutter documentations. Okay, so here are the instruction to create an application. Begin by replacing the template code in main.dart with the code below. So they're asking us to open the main.dart file, which is present inside the lib directory. Double click the main.dart file, it will open the code. After opening this, you have to click on this button, which will copy the given code, and we have to replace with the code which is by default present here. So just hit Control A and Control V. So it will paste the code which is given by the Google Labs. Save the updated code, click on Terminal and press R. After pasting, click on Control S, go to Terminal, click here and place small r or capital R to hot reload. Okay, so hot reload is completed. After that, we have to visit our live server web page and click on reload to view the changes. Okay, so as you can see, we just replaced the default code with the given code, and after building that code, you will see an app bar which says "My Awesome App." This blue bar with the text inside is called as app bar, and that Jan, Feb, and March are displayed using the list view widget. So we'll understand this code in a while. Okay. So we'll learn about list view data here. In the section, add user interaction to respond with a list item is selected. Previously, we have looked at using a small amount of data being added to list view. Working with larger volumes of data can be challenging. To help this situation, we'll consider using a list view dot builder. Okay, so we'll start by declaring a list. So what is list? So as we discussed in Dart session, list is basically a collection of any elements. For example, here the elements can be text. It's basically like an array in C or C++, etc. So for declaring a list, you will use the list keyword with the data type, like the like the type of data that this list will be holding, then the name of your list, and inside the open and close square brackets, you will enter the data which your list will be holding. So let's copy paste this. We'll just copy and declare it in our application. I just declare it here. And the second is Listview builder declaration. So as you can see, we are adding the Listview builder declaration inside the body of our material widget. As you know, the body is the actual body of the application, which is the which is the what you can say the property of your scaffold or the material app, and list view builder is a function or a widget which you can say which takes a list and builds a list UI. Okay, so the next step is to replace my app class with the code below. So let's replace it. So this is your my class, and and the lab is instructing us to replace this code. So just select it and replace with the given code. So, let's understand the code first before reloading. I guess we are getting some error. Let's see, just ignore that. Okay. So the first line is all about importing the material.dart file. So Piyush must have explained what this is. So basically, material.dart is a library which contains the essential your material app class and other classes which we'll be using for building the application. So first we are defining. Okay, yeah, we are missing some line. Okay. So by mistake, we also replaced this the third line, which we were not supposed to. So we'll replace the code again properly. I guess we are good to go now, as we cannot see any errors. So we have just imported the material.dart file, which is the package provided by Flutter for developing applications, and void main. So this is the main function of your Flutter application, whose return type is void. And after running after going inside the main application, the Flutter will call the new function, which is run app function, and it will call the my app and it will call the my app function. So that after calling this you are so basically this is the starting point of your application. So when you run your application, as we provided my app class, so this is what your first page will what you can say build and look like. So this is the my class which we just defined, which extends stateless widgets. So extend is similar to what you do in other languages like inheritance. It's basically inheritance, which is extending stateless widget. So as we discussed in yesterday's session, stateless widgets are widgets whose state does not change. Basically, there are some UI elements. Once they are what you can say painted, they cannot be changed. So here we are defining a list of items which is storing Jan, Feb, and March as of now, and this is the widget build method. So as you know in Flutter, everything is based on widget trees, and widget build is the method which will build our widget tree and build the UI. So we are defining a variable whose data type, we are defining it final. We are defining it as final because we won't be changing the name of your application later. So it's good to define it as final or constant. So in a widget, we are returning the material app class whose title is title. So if you're getting confused, you can, if you click in this title, this it will get highlighted. So basically, the title of an application will be the title which we just defined before, and home is the scaffold. Home property of material app is scaffold. So scaffold is basically the it provides a structure for app for a material application. And we are in scaffold, there is one property known as app bar. So create an application bar, we are calling this widget application bar, and we are providing a title which we just defined using a text widget and providing the variable constant which is title. So this is how you create an app bar. The second one is body. Using in body is a property of material app, which you are using to sorry, it is the okay, oh, sorry. It is a property which is used to build our list. So we are using the list view builder. For defining a list view builder, you have to pass the item count property. Item count is basically nothing. Is basically the number of items present in your list. So as you can see in our list, currently only three items are present. So item count is set to items dot length. So length is basically an attribute of the items or a list. You can use items dot length to get the number of items in your list. So items builder. So it will take the context and index and return a list title. So item build, we are using the item builder property for building the list of the months, whose title will be a text widget. And as we discussed in that session, we will be you use dollar sign for referring to what the value of some variable or some from list. So we are getting the values from items. Items is a list, and index is the index of a list. So as you know in programming, the indexing starts from zero. So this is the zeroth index. This is the first index. This is the second index. So when this code runs and the Flutter builds the widget tree, it will first go to items of index, and index will be zero. So it will first create a text with January, and it will again go into loop, and it will be this will be items of index will be two, sorry, one. So then it will print Feb, then it will print March. So this is how you create a simple list view. I just create a hot restart using R. Okay, so the hot restart is complete. It will return to the home page and just reload. So you won't see any difference because it was the same code as before. Now we'll make changes into it. Adding interactivity. In this section, you will add interaction to respond when the list item is selected. Add interactivity in Flutter typically requires a gesture detector, the type of gesture to capture the time. So as you can see, if you want to make your application interactive, you are using a gesture detector widget. So if you see, I'm clicking on this Jan, Feb, and March text, but as it basically does nothing. So it just prints this and it does nothing. It's basically useless. And our main aim is to create a two-screen application. So after clicking it, it should open a new page, which is the details page. So for doing that, we can use a snack bar to the course. So there is a visual notification in the user tabs. First, we'll do the steps which are instructed to us. Then we'll understand the code. So they are asking to update the my app with the following code. So what we did before, we'll just do it again. We will copy this code, go to the main dot, replace it with the my class app. So we are done, and just click on go to terminal and click small r and capital R. So the recompile, it has been the code has been compiled again and how to start it. Go to your live server, click reload again. So let's wait for the code to reload. So as you can see, if I hover over the Jan, Feb or March, you can see you can notice a small background change. Okay, so if you see it, it's the opacity of background of Jan text is different as compared to others. If I hit Jan, as you can see, you see you have selected Jan, Feb, March index. So if I click Feb, it shows this. If I click March, it shows the same thing. So this is what a snack bar looks like. Whenever you click, you will see a bottom bar notification like thing, which is known as snack bar, which is basically a pop-up in the at the bottom. As you can see, there is some error in our code. Uh, so we'll just try to fix it. Okay. Uh, yeah, so I guess we'll have to use it. Okay, so let's continue. Creating a details page. In this section. So as we successfully created and some user interactivity, which is after clicking you see this snack bar message. So that's what snack bar is called. We'll create now a details page, which is what you see after clicking some month name. As a second, which is very similar to the first page. This can be help us. This can help us construct the code. So we have to copy this and add the following code inside our main file. So let's understand this. Okay, so we forgot to understand the previous code. Uh, so in previous code, we returned a list title whose title is from the list which we just created, and we have defined one new property called the on tab. The on tab is a property which is defined in just detector. So we have defined a snack bar a snack bar variable and use the snack bar class to create a snack bar whose context is which will show a text which will show a text widget and you will see you have selected items and index. So this is what was missing from the previous code. You have to add this. Okay. Google Lab forgot to add this. So let's just add it. Hit save. Click on R to recompile. Open our web page. Reload. So if I click Jan, you can see now it properly shows you selected Jan. If I click Feb, it will properly show you selected Feb. So we just fixed one code bug which was present in Google Lab. Okay. So about the other class, so we have defined the My Details class, and which is extending stateless widget. This is basically inheriting properties of stateless widget. We are creating title variable which is title final. It says details page. We are returning a scaffold whose app bar with text is the title which we just created and whose body is text widget and it says you selected Jan. So we just recompile and just check it. Okay, so we won't be able to check because we just created a new page but we don't know, but they haven't provided the code to uh, to transfer between both the screen. So now we will learn how to switch between different views, different screen after clicking this text. So this is the part which will be covering about navigation between pages. So navigator is a widget in Flutter which we'll be using for navigating between different pages. Push is the function I guess. Yeah, okay. Which takes the context as an input. Context is basically the current, what you can say, the widget tree it refers to, and you will use the material page root. It is a, you can say it is a function which takes the context and returns the page that you have to visit. So we will be returning a my details page. So after, so when this navigator is called, it will just open switch to the my details page which we just created here. So previously we created snack bar to indicate that on our on tap event has occurred. Now we have to remove the snack bar code, add a navigation between pages, point navigation to my details class. So for adding navigator app to my app, you have to replace the my app with the following code. So my app class is defined here. I just replace with the updated code. After doing that, you have to click on Go Terminal, recompile or hot reload. So it has successfully hot reloaded. Go to a live server and refresh. So this is how now the app looks like. After, if I click Jan, as you can see, we successfully built a two-screen application. It says details page with a back button which will move to the previous app, and it says you selected January. If I go back and select Feb, it says you selected Jan. If I go back, you go to my select, you select Jan. So you can notice the big bug our application app. Whatever you click, it says you clicked selected January, but actually we clicked Feb and March. So let's learn about passing data between pages, which will help us fix that bug. So it is asking to update a navigation code to pass a parameter. So we'll just copy this, replace our navigation code with the one they are given. They have asked to replace. So if you see some red squiggle, just ignore it as of now. Or you in the code below, you will use the material page layout to communicate with the new page. To pass the information details space, we'll use a list item say string as parameter. So they're asking to update my application with the following code. So after doing this, we'll be updating our my class code. Sorry, my details code, class code, my details class code. Let's understand this. So so the problem which we are facing, we were facing here was whenever you click on Jan, it was opening the same page. So here what we can do is while going to the new page, we will pass some data. In this case, the data can be the name of the month. So if I pass data as Jan, it will print Jan. If I pass data as Feb, it will print Feb. So that's what we just did, and just check, we'll just check the code. So if you see the my details class and this 39th line, this is the constructor. So constructor is in any programming language is used to construct the variables and the variables of that object. So in this constructor, we are asking to we are asking the user to pass some month. So month is basically a string, and after the object is created while building the Flutter tree, widget tree, we are passing you selected month variable. So basically we are asking the user to pass some month to the my details page whenever it is calling. So after passing data, it will take the that month string and it will print to the second page. So in this code, as we see, we made our multiple class such that it will ask us for month string. And here in this in the my app class, if you see the navigated on tap navigator uh, code, you see when the minus class is called, like we will pass some string. Here items of index, as we discussed, items is a list, and their index will be 0, 1, 2, and all our index is nothing but just a string. So that's what we wanted some data to be passed to the second screen, which will the second class or second screen my class will use that and print that data. So that's what we built. So let's hot reload and refresh this. So let's check the new application now. If I click Jan, you will see that it says you selected Jan. If I go back and click on February, it says you selected February. If you go to March, it says you selected March. So as we discussed before, we successfully built the app, which is two-screen application. If you want the more list to be more month name to be defined there, you can just add to this list. For example, if I do add another month like April, it will just work fine. You will save, go to terminal, click on R, go to the live server, refresh. You will see a new list which says April, list data. So as you can see, April also works successfully fine. So that's it for this lab. So let's check the progress. Okay, we successfully completed this lab. We can just end it here. So as you can see, we completed the Flutter Quick Start, the other one which is the Flutter 2 screen application. And if you can complete this working on screen data in the Flutter application and other later. So that's it from my side. So if so, here is
Thank you,
the
Vinay.
here is the link if you want to open the Flutter Essentials lab. So that's it from my side. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any, or we can end the session now.
Thank you, Vinay, for such a great session. And we'll be taking questions if there are any. I don't think there are any questions, so we can end the session here. Thank you
Okay,
very much for this
okay,
insightful session, and thank you
okay.
everyone
Thank
for
you everyone
joining
for
in.
joining.